Good morning and welcome to the first 6 weeks curriculum preview for grade 8. This is Brenda Mesa and I hope you will find the information in this preview to be helpful. As you watch this video, feel free to stop the video at any time to allow yourself some additional time to read a slide or to look over an item. In the first 6 weeks we'll have 3 units. Unit 1, some real numbers. Unit 2, scientific notation. Unit 3, proportional relationships. And we start Unit 4, non-proportional relationships in the first 6 weeks, and we continue it into the second 6 weeks. Please consult your district scope and sequence in Eduphoria for the recommended number of days for each unit. Okay, Unit 1. I want us to start by talking about strands, knowledge and skill statements, and student expectations. Numbers and operations, that is called a strand. What follows that is called the knowledge and skill statement. The student applies mathematical process standards to represent and use real numbers in a variety of forms. What follows that is called the student expectation. And it even starts out by saying the student is expected to. And you'll see that we have 3 student expectations there under 8.2. Additional information on our student expectations can be found on the standard clarifying documents and in the Unit 1 overview in Eduphoria. As you design instruction, it is important to include the mathematical process standards because it states that within the knowledge and skills statement. As we know from data from the STAR test, the TEA has put an emphasis on 8.1b, 8.1a, and 8.1f. Testing data has shown that 8.1b is tied to all the questions on the STAR test. And 8.1b is using a problem-solving model. And using a problem-solving model is one of our Tier 1 priorities. Our problem-solving model is UPS Check. And the use of UPS Check in the classroom will support that Process Standard 1b. Process Standard 1a, apply mathematics to problems arising in everyday life and society and the workplace. When we put skills in the context of a situation, that is how we are supporting that standard. 8.1f, analyze mathematical relationships to connect and communicate mathematical ideas. When we have students analyzing relationships and we have students connecting and communicating those ideas, that's how we're supporting 1f. And when they're communicating, we need to have students communicating both orally and in written form. Okay, next thing I'm going to ask you to do in just a moment is to click on the link and go out to the Texas Gateway and select the supporting information for grade 8. And the supporting information document from TEA provides us with the most up-to-date information on our standards. If you've printed out a copy of this document, when you go to the supporting information document, you're going to want to look at the footer to see if the document you have matches the date of the document on the screen. If you have an older version of the document, I'm going to ask you to please disregard it and use the more up-to-date version. When you go to the Gateway, you're going to look for the supporting information document. I would like for you to see what TEA has to say about our TEKS within this unit. And you'll see those listed on your screen. So right now, please pause the video and allow yourself some time to find the supporting information document and read about the TEKS within this unit. TEA has released some items for us, some sample items, and the first item I'd like for us to look at is from 8.2a. As we look at released items in this presentation, I would like for you to look at them through 2 lenses. 1, where do you think your student struggled? And 2, are there any instructional changes that you might make this year so your students will be successful on complex items like these in the future? I would also encourage you to look at your campus data and your teacher data if you were a teacher last year to help inform your instruction for this coming year. I would like to note that in 2015 and 2016, TEKS 8.2a was not tested on the STAR test. However, we do have a sample item that TEA released to us in 2015, and that's the item that you see on your screen. This item was linked with Process Standards 1B, 1E, and 1G, and the correct answer being A. For additional sample items, please see your standard clarification document in Eduphoria. In 2016, the state released this item, and it is linked with Process Standards 1B, 1C, 1E, and 1F, and the correct answer is H. My apologies for how I fit question 37 on the screen, but I really wanted you to be able to see all three of those on the same screen. Question number 1 was linked with Process Standards 1A, 1B, 1E, and 1F. Question 30 was linked with 1A, 1B, and 1F. And question 37 was linked with 1B and 1F. As a district, our students scored lower on item 37 than the other two items. As a district, our students scored 1 point higher on item 30 than on item number 1. I would encourage you to review your campus data and see how your students performed on these items and use the data to help you make some instructional decisions for this coming year. Okay, Unit 2, Scientific Notation. Additional information on our student expectations for this unit can be found in the standard clarification documents and in the Unit 1 overview. This unit only has one student expectation, and it is a supporting standard. I would like to point out, though, that it is a supporting standard not only for math, but it's our teaching our students this standard is important because it supports science. Our students are expected to use scientific notation and work with scientific notation in science, and so we are laying the foundation for our students for the work that they will do in science classes. Okay, again, I would like for you to go out to the supporting information documents and look and see what TEA has to say about this standard. So please pause the video and take a look at your supporting information document. In 2016, we have a released item for this standard, and this standard was linked with process A, B, and F, with the correct answer being A. As a district, we didn't do so well on this standard. It's a supporting standard, but it also supports science, and therefore it is important for our students to understand and be able to convert between standard decimal notation and scientific notation. Unit 3, Proportional Relationships. There are 4 student expectations in this unit, and standards 8.4b and 8.4c are our readiness standards. Additional information on these standards can be found on the standard clarification documents and in the unit overview. Once again, please pause the video and look at your supporting information document for the TEKS within this unit. We have some released items from 2016. Question number 5 was linked with process A, B, E, G, and the correct answer is D. Question 34 linked with process standards 1A, B, E, F, and the correct answer is G. And one more item, 42, linked with process standard 1A, 1B, 1E, and 1F, with the correct answer being H. We have a few more items released for standard 8.4C. Question 12, linked with process standard 1B, 1C, 1E, 1F, with the correct answer being H. Question 39, linked with process standards 1B, 1E, 1F, the correct answer being -6. And question 47, linked with process standards 1A, 1B, 1C, 1E, 1G, with the correct answer being A. TEKS 8.5a was not tested on the STAR test in 2015 or 2016, nor did TEA release any sample items for this standard in 2015. So you may see the standard clarification document in Eduphoria for sample items. In 2016, we have a release item for TEKS 8.5e, and it is tied with Process Skills 1B, 1C, 1F, and the correct answer being B. This SE is in the proportionality strand, and my wondering is, how are you teaching this? Are you teaching it using a proportion? The proportion that you could have the student set up is y over x equals y over x, substitute in 75 for y, substitutes in 1/2 for x, and then in the second ratio you could set up, you could have x substituted in as 2 1/4, and then have the student solve for y, solve that proportion for y. That could be an alternate method if you are teaching your students y equals kx. So you can teach them y equals kx, but you could also show them the proportional way as another means of solving a problem like this, and it might be easier for some of our students to be able to show mastery of the standard that way. Standard 8.4b has a student task that our wonderful curriculum writing team developed for us, and it is connecting unit rate and slope. You may find these student tasks in Eduphoria. You click on Unit 3, click on Unit Documents, click on Resources, and at the bottom of the screen you'll see 8.4b, Student Task Connecting Unit Rate and Slope. Click on that, and you will see this open up in the white space. You'll see a Google link there. Click on that Google link or paste that into your web browser, and you will be asked to log into your g.birdvilleschools.net Google account. And once you do that, you'll have full access to the student task. Okay, Unit 4. Again, we'll start this one in the first 6 weeks and finish it in the second 6 weeks. And if you look at your scope and sequence, it'll give you an idea of how many days in the first 6 weeks you should spend on Unit 4 and how many will continue into the next 6 weeks. For additional information on the standards in this unit, you can click on the standard clarification documents or look in the Unit 4 overview in Eduphoria. Okay, again, I would like for you to look at your TEKS supporting information document from TEA. So pause the video and take a few moments to look at that document for the TEKS that are within this unit. Let's take a look at our released items for this unit. In TEKS 8.4c, we have question 12, which is linked to Process Standard 1B, 1C, 1E, 1F, with the correct answer being H. Question 39, which is linked to Process Standards 1B, 1E, 1F, with the answer being -6. And again, we have question 47, which is linked with Process Standards 1A, 1B, 1C, 1E, and 1G, with the correct answer being A. We have a released item for 8.5b, question 16, and that is linked with Process Standards 1B, 1D, 1F, 1G. Excuse me, that correction there. They're linked with Process Standards 1B, 1D, 1F. The correct answer is G. Our students did score so well on this item, which didn't come as a surprise to me, because the students first have to translate that information into an algebraic expression and then figure out which, use some substitution to figure out which table matches the data. Okay, in 2016, we had a release of 8.5F, and our students did really well on this one, so kudos to our teachers. It is linked with Process Standards 1B, 1E, 1F, and the correct answer is F. And finally, we have Process Standard TEKS 8.9a. It is released item 50, linked to Process Skills 1A, 1B, 1E, 1G. with the correct answer being H. And our students did a pretty good job on this one, so good job, team. Okay, well, it looks as though we've come to an end of our time together. Thank you for taking time to participate in our curriculum preview. I hope the information was helpful to you. Please don't hesitate to contact me if you have any questions or if there's anything I can do for you. This is Brenda signing off.